أم سألون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا وجعلنا سراجا وهاجا وأنزلنا من المعصرات ماء سجاجا لنخرج به هبا ونباتا وجنات ألفافا إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في السور فتأتون أفواجا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابسين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا هميما وقصاقا جزاء وفاقا إنهم كانوا لا يرجون حسابا وكذبوا بآياتنا كذابا وكل شيء أحصيناه كتابا فذوقوا فلن نزيدكم إلا عذابا إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربي عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلم إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر لا ليتني كنت ترابا صدق الله العلي العظيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد والثناء لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد صلى على محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين سيما بقية الله في الأرضين ولعن الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. Before I start, they just requested me to remind again that there is a kids program parallel to this speech going on. If you want, inshallah, it's going to be beneficial for the children. It's going to be educating and inshallah, make sure you take advantage of it and make use of it. We have been talking about the importance of seeking knowledge to our Imam. And we mentioned the hadith of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Also, it's seda zang dare. And we mentioned the hadith from the Holy Prophet. If you want to recite the salawat, do it a loud one. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. It's been said that loud salawat kills hypocrisy, so recite a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And we mentioned the hadith that the more knowledge of Imam you seek, the hadith that if you die, if you pass away from this world without knowing your Imam of time, then you have died the death of ignorance. Man mata wa lam ya'rif imam zamanah mata mitatan jahiliya. From this hadith and all other ayat and other hadith, we conclude and drive this conclusion that a Islam without Imam is equivalent to remaining or continuing or pursuing the life in the era of ignorance. No difference. You're just adding a set of rituals and a burden on yourself. You're taking the difficulty of carrying the identity of Islam in this ending times that is becoming more and more difficult. Yet, those set of rituals that do not get you any closer to the Almighty. Because these sets of ibadat, acts of worships, these rituals give us the power. Imam rather gives us the direction where we have to use that power to go to. فَابْتَغُوا إِلَيْهِ الْوَسِيلَةِ. The Holy Quran says. این زنگش خیلی اذیت میکنه. چیزش باید کم بکنم. Just fix this because extra noise. Because I'm going to speak for 2 hours. This little noise will make everybody bored. Recite a salawat. Allahumma sallam. No, inshallah, I'll try to keep it short and quick to 30 minutes. If I pass 9:30, Agha, you allow me. Ring my phone here and inshallah. Recite another salawat. Allahumma salla ala Muhammad. I mean, if the sisters even come closer, we can, put the microphone aside. But no, keep the setting the way it is. We said that the ignorance is equivalent to lack of knowledge of Imam. Let's define it this way. And knowledge is the knowledge of Imam. And we mentioned that sadly, that's the only thing that we know from our Imam is the name of the Imam. We know who is his father, we know who is his mother, and that's about it. Do we know his preferences? Do we feel that idtirar, that state of emergency, that urgent need to him? Not really. And that is the sad part. That is the saddest part of the story of our lives. We know what is the pain, yet we know what is the cure. Still, we do not seek the treatment. Isn't this sad? For example, somebody is having some pounds of extra weight. They know that being overweight is unhealthy. And they know that exercising and fixing their diet is the solution. Yet they're just lazy enough not doing it. Agha Bahjat rahmatullah alayhi wa ala Allah maqam says, the sad part of our story is that we have decided to not be Salman. Of course we cannot become Amir al-Mu'mineen. It's like an asymptote in mathematics, right? It's that limit. You cannot get there, but you can get as close as Salman. To the extent that you become part of the Ahlul Bayt. This is what the Holy Prophet said. He said, Salmano minna Ahlul Bayt. Salman was an ordinary man. He was not Sayyid. He was not from Bani Hashim. He was not from Medina. He was not an Arab. He didn't have any geographical commonality or similarity to the family of the Prophet. But says, Salmanu minna Ahlul Bayt. Has this term ever been used on any other figure in Islam? Does anyone know? Good shot. Good shot, good guess. It has been used about Zubayr. You got surprised. It's okay. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam says, ما زال زبير منا أهل البيت حتى نشأت ابنه Abdullah. He was also part of the Ahlul Bayt. Until when? Until his son grew up and corrupted him. Abdullah. Those who have watched the series of Mukhtar, that person who is playing the role of Abdullah, you know, Imam says he corrupted his father. Getting there is one thing. Remaining there is in need of constant maintenance. But we can get there. Yet, that is not in part of any of our ambitions to be there. Agha, the sad part is we are used to this life that we are living, and we have settled for less. We are happy that we have achieved that certain salary per year, and we have been able to successfully purchase our second, third, fourth house, and we have been able to add to our collection and to our cars and to our possessions. And all of these possessions unconsciously has added or attached to our attachment to this dunya. And we have settled down with it. That is the reality. Let's be frank with ourselves. We have been used to this life. And then we say, oh, why are we having so much stress and anxiety and depression? Don't look for further solutions. It's because you're out of the track. That's why that happiness, that peace of mind is not there. If you are with the Imam and you're in the midst of the battlefield, you have peace of mind. Under the raining of all the arrows, in the middle of the day of Ashura, look at how the ashab and the companions of Imam Musa alayhi salam lived it through. They were laughing and joking with each other before the day starts. Muslim ibn Usajah and Habib ibn Madahir, all these companions, they're the happiest. Man, there is a big battlefield that is about to happen. And what are you doing? What gives you that peace of mind? It is that certainty and yaqeen that you're on the right track. You're where you belong to. What is falah? What is falah? The Quran says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Farsi translation accepted. Someone help me out. What is falah? Urdu translation accepted. Success, rastagari. What do you call falah in Urdu? Falah. But none of it we understand. We don't understand what rastagari is. We don't feel it. Success, what do you mean by success? Prosperity, what do you mean by prosperity? Falah in Arabic is that state that the seed that you have planted starts coming out of the soil and it starts flourishing. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Falah means you are the best version of yourself that you can be. And is there a limit to it? The limit is Salman. Is there an end to it? You can get so close to Insan Kamil, perfect human being, that the Holy Prophet labels you. If Salman could achieve that, we can achieve it too. I don't say we are expected to achieve it, because that makes our life hard. That adds to our duty. But let's keep it this way. If he achieved it, we can achieve it too. Falah means In Farsi, I would translate it as shukufai, where you're the best version of yourself and you start benefiting people to come to the path of truth. You help people, you find your Imam of time and you help other people to find their Imam of time and to know them. That is falah. And the Quran describes, look at their salat. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Look at their friends. They asked Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, how do we testify and evaluate someone who claims to be on the path of haqq? Imam says, انظر إلى أصحابه من هم. Look at their companions. Look at their friends. Look at their family members, those who are surrounding him, and see who they are. وَإِلَى صَلَاتِهِ كَيْفَ هِيَ. And look at their salat and see the quality of their salat. You should know. Agha, you didn't have to attend lectures and classes of Agha Bahjat to know who he is. It would have been sufficient for you to pray once behind him to know who he is. People were making lines in the streets of Qom in order to see him just passing by and attend his masjid, to just experience and taste the sweetness of a salat behind following this man of God. You don't have to. And do you know many lectures from her out there? Hours and hours. From this valueless servant, there are so many lectures up online. You can't find lectures from Ayatollah Bahjat, Agha Bahjat. There's simple, small, tiny little words here and there at the end of his bath and class. That's it. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Look at the state of falah. By their salat, they revive the culture of salat. By their daily lives, they revive the hearts of the dead. Those who are living, but they have their hearts dead. They revive them. من مات ولم يعرف إمام زمانه مات ميتة جاهلية. He lives, even though during the time he's alive, he's dead. He's dead. One of the very special structures that can help us to become a good companion for our Imam of time is family. That's why the topic of our lecture or this discussion was, what is our responsibility in the ending times? One of the structures that is under big attack from the shaitan and the followers of shaitan in the ending times. Last night we talked about the relation and bond between us and our Imam, and tonight I want to add to it the bond and connection and relation with our family members, relatives. They asked Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, recite aloud salawat please. They asked, when is it that the promised Savior will inshallah start his movement? مَتَى يَخْرِجُ قَائِمُكُمْ. Imam says, إِذَا كَثُرَ الطَّلَاقُ. When? This is one of the signs of the ending times. The divorce rate increases. وَكَثُرَ الْعُقُوقُ. Have you heard of the term aq walidain? Children bothering their parents? Imam doesn't say that is the only thing. Uquq, the other way holds true as well. Sometimes we have aq walidain, the children are bothering the parents. Sometimes it's the parents bothering the children. The son or the daughter wants to follow Islam, the parents are panicking. There's this brother that was attending the first 10 nights of Muharram in Los Angeles, where I was, and he said every night I want to come to the masjid, I have to convince my parents I'm not going to do anything dangerous. I'm just going to Masjid. They try to refrain me and avoid me from leaving the house towards coming to Masjid. To the extent that if I tell them I'm going somewhere else, they'd be happy and satisfied. And then وَاسْتَخَفَّ بِالْوَالِدَيْنِ. And then parents are being disrespected. And then this part is applying to our situation exactly this day, as if Imam was eyewitnessing our life today. It says, اشتبه الرجال بالنساء. Men will try to imitate women. وَالنِّسَاءُ بِالرِّجَالِ. And men and women will imitate men. With all respect due to the dignity of this gathering, I should say, Imam clarifies further. He says, اكتفى الرجال بالرجال. The men will suffice their needs with the same gender. وَالنِّسَاءُ بِالنِّسَاءِ. This is sign of the ending times. Why is family structure under big attack? Why is it the case? We're coming up with new fake definitions of family in accordance to the definition of the deen, so that people become lonely. And once you become lonely, the danger of loneliness defeats you. Shaitan can defeat you easier. Islam is a religion of congregation. Do things in congregation. You guys could have sat in home, watched a lecture much better than the discussion of tonight. There's plenty online. And maybe have a better connection and better feeling. But you decided to come together. It's been said that if you want to pray salat, try to make it salatul jama'ah. They asked one of the scholars, they said, praying on time with presence of heart, good feeling, on time, or praying late without presence of heart, but still with jama'ah. That alim said, do the second one. Islam is a deen of congregation. They say if you pray Salatul Jama'ah and there are 10 people following, if entire seas become the ink and all the trees out there become the pen of it, they can't jot down the reward of it. Why? Because the Holy Quran says, إِنَّمَا أَعِزُكُمْ بِوَاحِدَةٍ. I give you one piece of advice. أَن تَقُومُوا لِلَّهِ مَثْنَى وَفُرَادًا. Rise up, start your movement to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mathna in here means two or 2 by 2. Furada individually. 2 by 2 is a beautiful way of saying in congregation and in groups. And then if that was not a possibility, do it individually. But not remain in that state of individualism. Start up this movement individually until you can gather people. Until you can have your family follow you. Once you become lonely, it's easier, much easier for shaitan to defeat you. Amir al-Mu'minin Nahj al-Balagha says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. This culture of reciting salawat after the name of each Ahlul Bayt, unfortunately, is not within the Iranian community, but it's a beautiful culture. It just gives the scent of salawat remaining in the state of smelling the perfume of salawat all over the majlis. So recite a good loud salawat, please. Allahumma salli. It's a good culture. Wa Muhammad wa ajfa. Imam says in Nahj al-Balagha that وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَالْفُرْقَةِ. Stay away from loneliness. Stay away from division. Stay away from being scattered. Why? Prior to it, Imam has a very famous sentence. You all have it memorized. Imam says, فَإِنَّ يَدَ اللَّهِ مَعَ الْجَمَاعَةِ. Indeed, the aid of Allah, the support of Allah is where? It's with the congregation. That highlights the importance of coming together. And then Imam says, to make this sink into our heart, Imam says, فَإِنَّ الشَّاذَّ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ مِنَ النَّاصِلِ الشَّيْطَانِ. Whoever that is left behind from the congregation, from the people, is a good prey for shaitan. It is for shaitan, lil shaitan. It's being taken, haunted. وَإِن كَمَا إِنَّ الشَّاذَّ مِنَ الْغَنَمِ لِلذِّئْبِ. The very same way, the left out sheep is a good prey for the wolf. Take it. No protection. Imam Hasan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, whose martyrdom we are commemorating tonight. And by this, inshallah, we please the heart of our beloved mother, Salamullah alayha. On this night, there are two narrations for the martyrdom of our beloved second Imam. One is the 28th of Safar, and the other one is the 7th of Safar. Both of these narrations have strong background, and it's sign of ghurba and madlumiyah and loneliness of our beloved Imam, that just like his mother, the date of his martyrdom is not certain. We are not assured. But Imam, on his very last moments, I'm going to read you this. It's a bit lengthy, but this hadith is beautiful. If you want to leave with anything tonight, I would think that it is better for us to leave with this words of wail on his last moments of our beloved second Imam. Junada is one of his companions. He said, I went to him and I saw him. He's bending over this container and throwing up blood after that poison has attacked him severely, has been effective seriously. He says, I went to him and I got surprised. I was wondering what is going on. I said to him, Mawlai, oh my master, oh my Imam, why don't you go after a treatment? Imam said, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. There is no treatment for death. My time has come. There is no treatment for death. And then Junada says, ثُمَّ الْتَفَتَ إِلَيَّ فَقَالَ. This guy says on his last moment, imagine that hectic situation. He goes forward. He says it is his last moments. Let me get a benefit from the Imam. He goes forward, Imam sits down. You can imagine how Imam was feeling on those moments. He said, أَعِذْنِي أو أَعِذْنِي. Give me a piece of advice. Imam says, ثُمَّ الْتَفَتَ إِلَيَّ. He looked at me. فَقَالَ. And he said, وَاللَّهِ لَقَدْ أَهِدَ إِلَيْنَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمَ. Muhammad. Indeed, he conveyed to us إِنَّ هَذَا الْأَمْرِ, this matter of wilayah and imamah, يَمْلِكُ إِثْنَا عَشَرَ إِمَامًا مِنْ وُلْدَ عَلِيًّا وَفَاطِمَةً. This will be taken by leadership and imamah of the offspring of Ali and Fatima. مَا مِنَّا. Calm down, Junada. Be patient. There are more tragedies and atrocities to come. There is going to be Karbala. There is going to be the occultation of Imam, the Karbala of our time, for years. مَا مِنَّا إِلَّا مَسْمُومٌ أَوْ مَقْتُولٌ. There's none of us, the Imams, except being poisoned or martyred by sword. ثُمَّ رُفِعَتِ التَّاسْتِ وَبَكَى. And then he puts the container aside. He puts it away and starts shedding tears. May I die for you, Ya Imam al-Mujtaba. Salawatullah alayhi wa alihi. قال فقلت له إذني يا ابن رسول الله. Give me a piece of advice. قال نعم. Junada, استعد لسفرك. Get prepared for your journey ahead. Prepare yourself. استعد لسفرك. وحصل زادك قبل حلول أجلك. And add to your good deeds before this trip hits you, before your time arrives. Take death seriously. You're taking dunya seriously. Take death seriously. It is coming. You haven't packed your bags yet. That surprise ticket is there. That call is gonna come. استعد لسفرك وحصل زادك قبل حلول أجلك واعلم. Know this, Junada. Just imagine, continuously imagine that in what state Imam is saying these words. If we were in that state, it would be like asking Junada to please leave us alone. The issue with us is that we never ask a piece of advice from our Imam. We never ask advice from true ulama, let alone the Imam. They are there to give it to us. They are there for guiding us. Imam was in this situation, and look, Imam doesn't reject him. Imam says, come Junada, I'll tell you. I'll leave you with golden words. That is the fruit of my entire life. وَعْلَمْ أَنَّكَ تَطْلُبُ الدُّنْيَا. Be aware, know this, that you are seeking after dunya, and at the very same time, وَالْمَوْتُ يَطْلُبُكَ. You're seeking the dunya, and the death is after you as well. So there's two sets of parallel works. You're moving towards dunya, and death is coming after you. وَلَا تَحْمِلْ هَمَّ يَوْمِكَ الَّذِي لَمْ يَأْتِ عَلَى يَوْمِكَ الَّذِي أَنْتَ فِيهِ. Do not stress yourself or bother yourself with the fear and sorrow, with the fear and the pain of the day that has not arrived over the moment that you're living in right now. Brothers, life is consistent of sequence of moments, either ascending moments or descending moments. Live in this moment. Most of the times we sacrifice this very moment that we are living in the sorrow and grief of the past, the mistakes we have made in the past, or in the fear of what has not been promised to come. All of what happens in the future. And most of the times the fear that we have about future is limited to the materialistic life. The gas price is going to go up. How I'm going to cope with my job. How I'm going to be prosperous at a school. You name it. Imam says, do not destroy your day and the moment that you're living in with the sorrow or with the pain and fear of what is about to come. وَأَعْلَمْ, and know, أَنَّكَ لَا تَكْسِبُ مِنَ الْمَالِ شَيْئًا فَوْقَ قُوَّتِكَ إِلَّا كُنْتَ فِيهِ خَازِنًا لِغَيْرِكَ. Be satisfied. Be content with what is your sustenance. Your sustenance is known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be content with it. Otherwise, whatever you attain, it's going to be spent for others. خازنة لغيرك. خازنا لغيرك. وَأَعْلَمْ, and this is the most important part. وَأَعْلَمْ, if we just take this lesson from Imam Hasan al-Mujtaba on this night, then every problem in our life will be solved over the course of time. وَأَعْلَمْ أَنَّ فِي حَلَالِهَا حِسَابٌ وَفِي حَرَامِهَا عِقَابٌ وَفِي الشُّبَهَاتِ عِتَابٌ. Be aware that in whatever that is halal, that you have obtained and acquired it in a halal way, or you name it, all the things that are permissible and halal to you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to hold you responsible. Did you do israf? Were you grateful? So on and so forth. And fi haramiha iqabun. And with what is not permissible, there is punishment. And fi shubahat, shubahat in here means the things that are mixed with haram, the halals that are mixed with haram. For example, someone's not paying their khums, the money that they have, there's issue with it, right? There's an issue with it. Itabun, it's the wrath of Allah. فَأَنزِلِ الدُّنْيَا بِمَنْزِلَةِ الْمِيتَةِ. Downgrade in your eyes the status of dunya. Consider this dunya as, or within the status of a dead. This refers to a fiqhi concept called aklamate. When you're in need and you're left in a situation that you have no access to halal meat, and there is an access to haram meat. For example, you're in prison or you're left in the middle of a desert and you are going to die if you do not consume from that haram meat. Islamically, because your life is more valuable than eating haram, Islam allows you to take so much that you can remain alive, so that you can leave that situation into a better situation. It's called acclimate. Imam says, deal with this dunya, obtain from the life of this dunya, attach yourself to this dunya to this extent. Every single expansion that you add to your materialistic life, it's going to add to your burden. May Allah's peace and blessing be upon the soul of Shaheed Beheshti. He was telling the tullab, the Hausa students, he was saying, I did expand my material life and I am regretting it. Do not do it. He became Shaheed. He was in such high status. Seems like 9:30 is here. So should we continue with the will of Imam Hasan? Inshallah, I'll continue tomorrow night, inshallah. But let's go. Let's take our hearts to Medina. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya sayyidi wa ya mawlai. Ya Aba Muhammad, Ya Hasan ibn Ali, أيها المجتبى يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا يا كريم الله إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله
وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا. After the will of the words of Imam al-Mujtaba finished, Imam asked Junada, Junada, it is for you the time to leave. I was thinking that maybe Imam sensed that Zainab is about to come. So Imam asked Junada to leave so that there is no non-mahram around. So that Zainab can come in peace and spend time with her brother. To whom shall I lament about my pain? Who will listen to me as I complain? These were the men given to me to lead. How will they treat my dear brother Hussein? A friend's treachery worse than enemies in my own city. All of them left me, Mawla Hasan. I don't have many joyous memories. It is difficult to walk these alleys. No one spoke when they heard my mother cry. Her children like her are also lonely. Now you know why they were buried that way. Took me in that day. They won't stay away. Mawla Hasan, Mawla Hasan, Mawla Hasan, Mawla Hasan. My sword was blunted by the deaf and blind. For this household a friend is hard to find. There's one who is more estranged than I, the promised savior of all mankind. They want luxury, oh how they can't see. With our victory, our Mahdi comes tranquility. Mawla Hasan, Mawla Hasan. Imam said, Junada, leave. I would say so that Zainab can come. Zainab arrived. Where were you, Ya Hasan ibn Ali? The same Zainab was taken to Bazaar without you. Was taken to the Majlis of Yazid without you. Ya Ghayrat Allah. Sayyid ibn Tabus says, Shahidun fawqa janazah, qad shuhad akfanuhu bil asab. We are aware and we know of a Shaheed that they threw arrows to his coffin. Ya Imam Mujtaba, salam man be Baqi'u, salam man be Medine, be Asdan Rafi'ash, be Masjid Rabawiyyo, be Lalahay Baqi'ash. سلام من به علی و به حلم و صبر عجیبش. سلام من به بقیع و 4 قبر غریبش. نشسته باز دلم پشت درب بسته آنجا، گرفته باز دلم بغر قبر مخفی زهرا. تو ای مسافر شهر مدینه در دل شبها، نبود هرچه که گشتم نشان ز مرقد زهرا. روزه امام مجتبی، روزه بیبی دو عالم حضرت زهراست. زهر به داد امام مجتبی رسید، از درد مدینه خلاص شد. از دیدن این کوچه ها و این در و دیوار خلاص شد. سلام من به تو ای بانویی که مرد نبردی، ز غیر هرچه که دیدی به یار شکوه نکردی. سلام من به بازو کبودی رویت، به سرخ فامی عشق تو و سپیدی مویت. صلی الله علیک یا فاطمه الزهرا، دختر بدر الدجا. امشب سجاب دارد عذاب، گاه میگوید پدر، گاهی حسن، گاهی رضا. دختر بدر الدجا امشب سجا دارد عزا. دختر بدر الدجا امشب سجا دارد عزا. گاه میگوید پدر، گاهی حسن.
Come closer, let's make lines. این صف سینه زنی درست کنیم. چند خط برای مجتبی انشالله کوتاه سینه بزنیم. یا حسن، 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 یا حسن. مدینه منزل قرآن، مدینه محفل قرآن. درون دل خبر داری تو از درد دل قرآن. مدینه شهر پیغمبر، مدینه شهر پیغمبر، مدینه شهر پیغمبر، مدینه شهر پیغمبر. خدا بر تو نظر دارد که هستی شهر پیغمبر. مدینه شهر گلهایی، چه گلهایی همه پرپر. مدینه شهر پیغمبر، مدینه شهر پیغمبر، مدینه شهر پیغمبر، مدینه شهر پیغمبر. بود کعبه گرفتارد که هستی تربت زهرا. چرا با ما نمیگویی حدیث غربت زهرا؟ چرا خاموش و دلگیری
مدینه شور و شینت کو امام مجتبایت کو حسنت کو حسینت کو مدینه شهر پیغمبر مدینه شهر پیغمبر مدینه شهر پیغمبر مدینه شهر پیغمبر آی مدینه ندیده ها باز بزنید به سینه آی مدینه ندیده ها باز بزنید به سینه دعا کنید همین روزا با هم بریم مدینه با هم بریم مدینه کریم آل الله حسن کریم الله حسن کریم آل الله کریم آل الله حسن کریم آل الله حسن کریم آل الله حسن کریم آل الله حسن کریم آل Lost still in Medina, the arrows pierced Hasan's heart. From his lovers and visitors, he is still apart. He is still apart. For he who gave all that he had, is this your answer? What evil did you see from my generous master? What evil did you see from my generous master? I wish to pray in the shrine of Hasan. I wish to pray in the shrine of Hasan. But first we'll build your mother's dome, Hasan. But first we'll build your mother's dome, Hasan. Agam, 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 Hasan. Agam, 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 Hasan. Agam, agam, Hasan. While he was still breathing, they turned their backs and left them. How I wish I could have been there, be his protection. This is the grandson of mercy and chief of heaven. His name, if you take in the grave, answers each question. When will we be rebuild the shrine of Hasan? When will we rebuild the shrine of Hasan? What kills me is the distance from Hasan. What kills me is the distance from Hasan. Agam, 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 Hasan. Agam, 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 Hasan. Agam, 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 Hasan. No one remained with him as he lay on the hot sand. But now the greatest pilgrimage is to Hussein's land. So why does my master Hasan only have a stone? The three infallibles as well can call my heart home. My parents raised me to follow Hasan. Oh Lord, raise us together with Hasan. Oh Lord, raise us together with Hasan. Agam, 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 Hasan. Agam, 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 Hasan. Agam, 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 Hasan. آخر یه روز شیعه برات حرم میسازه. آخر یه روز شیعه برات حرم میسازه. حرم مثل حرم امام رضا میسازه. حرم مثل حرم امام رضا میسازه. آقام 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 حسن. آقام 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 حسن. اما خودش لحظات آخرین گونه گفت، اشک سید الشهدا رو با اون حال از گونه پاک کرد. گفت برادر این لحظات میگذرم، اما لا یوم که یوم که یوم ابا عبدالله. شب جمعه, on this last Thursday night of the month of Safar, our hearts, the hearts of those deprived from going to Karbala on the day of Arba'in, is calling out your name. Agam, 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 Agam Hussein. Agam, 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 Agam Hussein. Agam, Agam, Agam Hussein. Allah wa sallallahu ala bakina ala Hussein. Hussein, 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 Hussein. أجرك الله بقية الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا صالح المهدي. في مصيبة إمامنا ومولانا حسن بن علي. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Inshallah, we're going to recite Ziyarat Waris quickly together, as it is the Thursday night and as it's becoming and as we are standing towards the direction of Qibla. Inshallah, it's been said though that during the time Imam Hussein alayhi salam was in Medina, every Thursday night he was going to the grave of Imam Hasan. And then see what happened. Imam Hasan alayhi salam sent all his zawar to Imam Hussein. During Arba'in, you see all the path from Najaf to Karbala is filled with people, yet there is no visitor to the shrine of Imam Hasan al-Mujtaba. He is Kareem, he gave all his zawar away. Assalamu alayka ya Hasan ibn Ali, ayyuha al-Mujtaba, ya ibn Rasulullah. And all together, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
السلام عليك يا وارث آدم صفوة الله. السلام عليك يا وارث نوح النبي الله. السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله. السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله. السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله. السلام عليك يا وارث محمد حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا وارث علي أمير المؤمنين ولي الله. السلام عليك يا وارث الحسن الشهيد سبت رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن البشير النذير وابن سيد البشير. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا خيرة الله وابن خيرته. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره. السلام عليك أيها الوتر الموتور. السلام عليك أيها الإمام الهادي الزكي وعلى الأرواح التي هلت بفنائك وأقامت في جوارك ووفدت مع زوارك. السلام عليك مني ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، فلقد عظمت بك الرزية وجل المصاب في المؤمنين والمسلمين وفي أهل السماوات أجمعين وفي سكان الأرضين، فإنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وصلوات الله وبركاته وتحياته عليك وعلى آبائك الطاهرين الطيبين المنتجبين وعلى ذراريهم الهداة المهديين. السلام عليك يا مولاي وعليهم وعلى روحك وعلى أرواحهم وعلى تربتك وعلى تربتهم. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله